Thank you so much for showing us this. Want to tell everyone who you are?
I'm Amanda McMillan with @Properties Christie's Real Estate. I'm super excited to be here today, and I cannot wait to show you this home. I've done this now for 21 years, and this is the first time that I've really seen something that's quite like that. So this is a really exciting day for me.
I've been in a lot of cool properties. I don't know if I've ever seen anything this wide and this big in terms of green space. And walking through the whole property, I was always surprised. I'm like, oh, ensuite. Oh, they're all ensuite. And oh, here's a hidden kitchen, and there's so many cool features here. Where are we?
Where are we? We are at 451 West Aldine. We're in the penthouse unit. It occupies the top 2 floors of this. You've got almost 4,600 square feet of enclosed space. In addition to that, you've got almost 2,000 square feet of private space. Right now we're in what I call the backyard. Obviously it's elevated, we're on the top of the building. It's so fun to show this because once again, as you said, as we walked past, it's not like anything you've seen. You're always wondering what comes next. It's like the Christmas morning, the gifts keep on coming.
And this is 4,600 square feet. Your average single family home is 4,200 square feet.
Sure.
And this has more space outdoors than a single family home would ever have. And so looking at this, at least on an average lot, looking at this, whoever's looking at a home should be looking at this and probably isn't.
You know, it's what I've said since the very, very beginning. The thing about this is that I don't think people understand that this really exists. It's so special, it's so unique. In my opinion, even though this is technically a condo, this is like somebody built a single family home, probably in the suburbs because it's so wide and the footprints are so big. They put it on top of an intimate condo building in the heart of East Lakeview. So it's kind of what I call a single family home light. You've got other people to help share in the maintenance. You've got a management company. You've got all of those perks. Plus, you don't have any of the negatives of our single-family homes in the neighborhood. So you don't have those dark middles of the units where you have no light coming in because of our long, skinny lots. So you have tons of light pouring in, tons of width. This one, it really hit it out of the park with me. And the story behind it, the story is one of my favorites to tell. It's a great story. The building, which dates back over 100 years, it was originally converted to condos around 2000. 𝗡𝗲𝗄𝗏 was the developer. And he found this building and he said, I want to convert this unit in this building for my own personal family. So it was a personally invested endeavor for him to create a home for his family. At that time, the owners of this, the sellers now, moved into the second floor unit because they really thought it was something special. Fast forward 11 years, John said, okay guys, our time has come. We're moving our family to the next endeavor. Is anybody interested in our units? It took absolutely no hesitancy. Our client said, we are all in, we want that unit. So back in 2011, they bought this home, they gutted it, they redesigned some of the floor plan to really, really work for their family's needs, and they've been here ever since. So these clients have lived in this building for 23 years and painstakingly are leaving. The only reason they're even considering leaving is that their youngest has now gone off to college. They spend half of their time here, half of their time outside of the state. It's just a lot of space for somebody that's here as a couple of 2 and not full-time.
How many units are in this building?
3, only 3.
Okay.
So it's nice, it's intimate, it's all owner occupied. You have so many extra perks. You have a backyard. You have it looks like a mini park in our city standard.
How wide is this, do you know?
Oh, this here, we are on I'd have to check, I think it's a 70-foot wide lot.
Okay, because this is, you can actually
Well, you've
play
got to
games
remember,
up
we've
there.
got next to us, we've got the driveway back because you've got parking for 4 cars with this unit plus guest parking
Adam,
as
come here,
well.
look at this. So you can see up and down here. You can't see it from here, but there's even a basketball hoop down there. But they have a cobblestone drive. You have a real backyard. I imagine that's common space?
That's common space.
Yeah, so there's like a picnic setup so you could eat outside if you wanted to. There's guest parking as well. There's parking for every person that's here. This is truly unique, and we're in this shot right here. You can look straight down. You want to show us the rest?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on. So one of the things that I really like about this outdoor space, right? When you think about roof decks on penthouse units, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be elevated on the top floor, meaning you have to go up more flights of stairs to get to that. This home here, you actually have 3 access points where you essentially spill out into this space from your top floor level. So it's not that you have to go up more stairs to get there. You can come right out of this space here where they actually put almost a full kitchen. You've got a dishwasher, you've got a refrigerator, you've got a really elevated wet bar right inside. You've obviously got the grilling section out here. I mean, you could absolutely entertain out here. You can absolutely eat meals. And if you really look around, even though we're in one of the most condensed parts of the city, in my opinion, this feels really private.
I love that you walk down. It's your point, you're always walking up to get here, but then we walk down to be here. So it adds these different dimensions being in the space, because that's lower over there, it's higher here. Everything has a different feel than you're typically getting on a rooftop.
For certain.
And I noticed the irrigation all the way around, so it's low maintenance. I asked you earlier, you said these are teak floors here, so very low maintenance.
And the nice thing is they actually, even though this was done a little while ago, they did it in the pallet style. So right, if you know, we always talk about
this is what people are doing today.
This is what you needed to do. So
Yes.
when they were doing it far in advance, right, because roofs are going to need maintenance over time. What happens when you don't have something in a pallet style? You're taking the whole roof deck off to do any repairs, and then you have to go back to it. Something like this is very, very forward thinking, because if you need a repair, if you need some maintenance, it's easy to take certain parts apart and put it right back together.
It's a huge point. So we have all this space here. I imagine we have gas lines set up.
Exactly.
We have water up here I can see. Let's check out inside.
Music.
Music too.
Don't forget the music.
Classic oak flooring. You notice a lot of good sections and cuts in it too, so it's not just your typical red or even white oak. I noticed some rift sections. And here's our wet bar.
Absolutely. This is just a fun multi-purpose room. First and foremost, you get a ton of light at all times of day, which is fantastic. As I said, you do have the overly glorified wet bar, so it just helps with entertaining outside. And this is just really a multi-purpose room in terms of how you want to use it, because there's so much great living space downstairs as well. This is the space that they like to kind of get away. I may have mentioned before, they raised a family of 5 kids here, so the ability to be in a home, to be connected, yet to everyone have personal space was really important to them. You also have, coming over here and take a peek at this, you have the 5th bedroom, which they've turned into an office
I didn't even know
suite.
this was up here.
Yeah, 5th bedroom back here. They've turned this into probably one of the most glorified home offices. And
This
you'll
is
see-
comfortable.
Yeah, right, not too shabby. I could be inspired to get some good work done here.
Good closet space. I love the wallpaper, really good texture to it. You can see they have this built in. But it's nice to have. You know, a lot of places you have to bring a desk, you have to figure out how it configures into a room. Even though you might like your desk, this is nice to have this made for this space. And it fits really well, and it's wide.
Absolutely. And you'll notice as we go throughout, every bedroom is a great size, right? We're not restricted by skinny lot sizes by any means, so everything is a really nice size from that perspective.
And then we have a full bath over here, and I love the classic styling, subway tiles, hexagons. It really sticks with everything. And then they have great wallpaper selections all the way throughout, great molding all the way through. Really classic. And your point about the entrances is great, because you can enter here, enter there, enter anywhere you want. And I love this sink. The sink is polished nickel for the faucet. Gotta love the pattern.
One of the things that I think they did really well, and I know you can confirm this being a great agent yourself, I always say that when we walk into a property, we can probably give about a 3-year span of when it was either built new construction or when it was new. What I think they did really well here is every fixture, everything is so classic.
It's timeless.
It's timeless, right? Absolutely. So whether, you could walk into this and say, hey, somebody would have done this a year ago, or somebody would have done this 11 years ago. There's nothing in here that by any means feels dated or incredibly time specific. And meanwhile, it's also very in line with the type of building it is. It's not like they took a old Chicago property and put in a very, very modern aesthetic. I think they very much matched something to have a really good feel in what it is.
In a time where all I've been seeing is black and brass, very happy to not see that. And I'm already looking at the stuff and I'm like, it's gone, it's dated, it's past.
Yep.
Because people have really overdone those two things. And this never goes out of style.
No, absolutely. You can walk into this and you can say that this, you wouldn't know when they had actually renovated if I didn't tell you.
So before we keep going, this is a silly thing to talk about, but I always love stairways. I like how wide this is. I love that you have platforms. A lot of times those are missing. And you have sconces following your way up. And then you have your back door right here. So if you just wanted to come in, because I imagine parking's out here, right?
Yep.
So you're gonna walk up, go upstairs, and go straight to your office if you want, or the rest of the house. But I always love a place where it's kind of two decisions. Because I don't always want to go through the kitchen or go through the foyer and go through the hall and do all, I just want to go straight to work or straight to bed.
For certain. And I think that's one of the things that really works in this floor plan is that everything has its own space, right? The bedroom wing is off this way. The living space upstairs is off that way. The living space up front is this way, so that you can have as much or as little privacy as you want. And I agree with you, this space, this is technically where the owners will come home to, right?
Yeah.
This is their foyer because they're typically going to be coming in from the parking, which is an attached garage, which is great. So they come in here, and I agree with you, just the width of this space, right? Staircases in our market tend to be a little bit of an afterthought just because we don't have enough space to make them.
We don't have the width.
We don't have the width.
So they always look the same.
Yeah,
unless you have extra
absolutely.
width.
So that to have this space here, to have this mudroom to fall into, to collect all of the stuff that we need to live in Chicago for 12 months out of the year, yet to have different ways to go. Once again, we don't see this. I say a lot, this has a circular floor plan up front. Our skinny lots just don't afford a circular floor plan. We usually tell people if they really like that, they gotta head to the suburbs.
Yeah.
So.
Which way are we going?
Let's go this way first, right? Because naturally, you come home from the house, I think this is the room that you tend to spill over. This is not a glamorous room by any means, right? Nobody's gonna say, ooh, the laundry room.
It is for a laundry room.
It is for but this is the real life room, as I call it. And most real life rooms don't look like this, right? You've got your mudroom, you can take off all your stuff, you can hide it so it looks nice.
This is always the most underrated and most important feature. I want to sit down, take off my shoes, and find the other ones and put some things away.
Totally. This makes real life. Think about how many condos you have, how many single family homes where you walk in and there's not even a coat closet.
Yes.
There's no place to put anything. This gives you a place to put something, a place to do laundry that's actually relatable to the rest of the home, and then just some ample storage to hide all the junk that we have.
And the functionality is real. We have the dual tiered desks. You have a place where you can put something, a great drop zone, things to hide things, places to hide things, and then great storage above. And then you always need to hang things. I always laugh when you walk into a laundry room and there's no place to hang. It's like a lot of the things go up and hang, and then you have something to work with too if you want. And then the window is giving us the natural light.
Right, this is south facing too, so this gets great light all day long. And I think that's one of the things I always say, so right, these clients worked with their designer and their architect to redefine this floor plan. And anytime we see that a client actually personalizes and does it for themselves, a lot more thought goes into the decisions. So they're gonna think through their daily lives and say, hey, I wanna do laundry here, I wanna fold here, I wanna hang here, I wanna be able to have these things. So every choice in here feels incredibly thoughtful, right? It's not something that a developer said, how is this gonna appeal to the masses? It really kind of went in to say, how is this gonna work in real life, and how do we implement that?
And when someone customizes, oftentimes in my experience, they don't do that.
No.
If they hire the right people, you're right, they execute it properly. But a lot of times you're like, why, what were you thinking?
Right.
You know, what happened in this room? You don't feel any of that here.
Well, and I should say, they worked with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Design, who is a very well-known designer in the city. They do incredible work. And one of the things that I really like is that none of it feels overdone. Right? None of it feels, a lot of times when we hear that designers are involved, we come into a very eccentric.
They want to make sure you knew they were involved. And there's some room and they're like, this is the statement. You're like, that's the first thing that's going down when you sell it.
Exactly. And you'll see, obviously there's a few choices that they personalize. They've been here for a long time, but nothing that you come in, the actual true finishes that are in here really feel like it's easy for anybody to step in next.
I see timeless elegance everywhere.
Perfect. Okay, so this was the original kitchen. Not what it looks like now, but this home had a galley style kitchen. Now what they did is they came, okay, catch this. You actually have 4 dishwashers in the entire property. You have 2 here, you have another one here, and you have 1 upstairs.
Wow, okay, yes.
So, they actually kept kosher here, so it worked really, really well.
I was noticing that, yeah.
Yeah, if you look, you'll see enough of the dairy and the meats and stuff like that, so it's definitely possible. So this was the original kitchen. Obviously, it got a makeover at that time. They kept it because for them, they really wanted a more open concept, but the ability to have this in the storage in it was really important to them as well, because this helped to facilitate their lifestyle. So you'll see as we go out, they expanded their kitchen, and you'll really be impressed to hear what they did in here.
They even have 2 garbage disposals. I was looking at the air buttons. I was like, why are there 2? Oh, there's 2 because there's 2 garbage disposals.
Right.
Got it. Cool.
So this is where it starts to get really fun for me.
I love this chandelier, by the way.
So I had them remove a little bit of furniture because obviously the way something lives and the way it shows can be a little different.
Well, they had 5 kids here, right? So.
Well, they had 5 kids, and every Friday night they had a dinner party here with at least 20 people.
Okay.
So what they did, because once again, their philosophy is they wanted to have an open, inviting environment. They always wanted their kids close. They wanted to encourage them as they grow up to have a tight family core knit, but they also wanted to have private space. So Friday night dinners was a big thing for them. They'd have 20 people. Now, when I originally came in, they had a built-in settee here that essentially was a bench for eating.
Okay.
They had this mirror table, the exact same one over here with 2 chairs. These tables both open up to double the size, and they would easily transform this into seating for 20 every night.
Okay. I
So-
see it. I picture it.
Yeah, it was, like I said, for showing purposes, it was a little crowded, but you could absolutely see how they lived here in a manner that creating that warm, inviting feel of wanting their friends and family close, that was absolutely their priority when they brought this in like this.
The lighting's very good in here. The sight lines are good. I mean, you can see down Aldine. It's really nice.
Yeah, during the we don't advertise this as lake views.
Yeah.
But during the winter when you don't have all the trees on it, you can absolutely get a little sliver of the lake.
I bet a sliver, yes.
Yeah, for certain.
I love the window treatments too. Are those staying?
All of those will stay, the light fixtures
Isn't it
will
silly
stay.
when people take them with? I'm like, you made these for the space.
It's
Don't
absolutely.
take them, leave it in place.
It's absolutely, yeah, it's all custom, everything will stay.
So gas burning fireplace. Or wood burning?
Wood burning.
No gas? Okay. Really
So
good
the real
room.
deal.
This feels really good. So you kind of have 2 sitting rooms here, right?
So they kind of created this for their lifestyles, that this was their more formal sitting area and then this was their TV room. Now, once again, what I like about this, I always promote to my clients flexibility. I love flexibility in space because what people need today is going to be different than what they might need a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, you know, from that perspective. So that originally was the formal dining room, which they kind of said, we're going to use once a week. They didn't like dedicating that amount of space. And I mean, I have it too. I have a formal dining room that probably collects more mail than anything else. So that's where they took that space as a continuation of the kitchen. If somebody really wanted a separate dining space, I think they could turn this into this. Once again, this is how they encourage their family to stay a little bit more connected.
Absolutely.
And keep this as a little bit of a TV room, knowing that this is such a big room that the dining space worked in here as well. But I think you have options.
You know, going back to the kitchen, I love when you have a tucked away part of the kitchen so you can hide things. It's an antiquated concept, sort of, but now you want something to show, but you also want a hidden area. You can see how big this is, and the range is fantastic, and it's so clean for living here for so long. You can tell that it's scrubbed. Like, you can tell that they cleaned it after each time. It's not like they never used it. This has been used, but they took meticulous care. So if they took meticulous care of this, they're gonna take the rest of the home and treat it in the same way.
Absolutely. I always say there's sellers you want to buy homes from and there's sellers you don't want to buy homes from, right? Some people just live hard and don't necessarily keep in line with it. That being
These
said,
cabinets have all the organizers.
yeah, and
They're
they were all
dovetailed.
custom made.
These run so smooth. I mean, the tracks, they feel really nice. And that's a small thing, but it's a real big thing because it shows you the quality. Oh, I love these. I used to have one. It's so nice.
But yeah, she was and is a cook, right? There was a lot of cooking that happened in this. There was a lot of entertaining that happened in this. But they lived in it and they were meticulous. They did have a live-in housekeeper so that everything feels incredibly good, despite the fact that a family was raised and really lived in this well.
So that's a huge fact. They had a live-in housekeeper, someone who cleaned and took care of everything every day.
Yep.
So that's why this home feels the way it does.
Exactly.
Yes, it was very well taken care of. Where do you want to go?
Let's come over here. This room is, I think we just kind of grazed over it a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think this is such a fun, intimate room. The only reason you can get away with something that's probably this dark is because of the light. I just think the way the windows focus here, you kind of feel like you're in a little bit of a tree house here when you get the sight lines of so much green and an incredible amount of privacy. On this side here, this is the east side. Because of the driveway for the building, we don't have a building right here.
Yeah.
So that as we go back, this is where all of our bedrooms line up.
All morning you're going to be illuminated.
We're going to have light all morning because we're not just looking into the brick wall of the next building.
I love how everything's framed. You know, we're looking around here, you can see the different doorways, the wallpaper, all the selections, all the coverings are really nice and they all tie in. There's one color kind of leading to the next, bringing you to your own space. They really framed this in well. What's next?
Let's see, let's go this way. We do have a powder room here so that realistically, if you are entertaining, your guests don't necessarily have to come back into your bedroom wing.
Perfect. And you know what's great? It's not right off the living room.
It's a little bit tucked away.
Sometimes it's a little too close
Yeah.
for comfort. Ooh, and the hardware, it's heavy.
It's heavy.
It's not cheap hardware. These feel great. They turn well.
Okay, so now we start the bedrooms. Just to give you an orientation, we're back here where we just did that circle.
Oh yeah.
Right, so we did a circular loop, and now we're back here, and this is one of the first bedrooms. Now on this floor, every bedroom is en suite. Could you imagine having a bedroom like this as a kid?
Well, I want this in my house. I want this in every room.
Right?
Yes, it feels great. It looks fantastic. I love the sconces above and the mirroring above too. And then the
I think I
carpet
would have
is
been a
so
better
comfortable.
reader if I had that.
Right? Yeah, you could always be comfortable. And then we have all ensuite baths, as you mentioned.
Yep.
Great hardware, even on the closet doors. All heavy doors. Yeah, they thought of everything. Ooh, and this green, I didn't really notice it with the lighting.
It's got a little bit of a green and a little bit of a teal.
Yeah.
The other thing that I should note, right, because so much of this home was customized for this home, the sellers are absolutely open to leaving a lot of the furnishings because so much of it fits well.
It makes
Obviously,
sense.
they can all go, but like a room like this, it all ties in really well together if that's what you're looking to
They
do.
have the
and
ceiling
intend.
pendants too for the reading lights. They have the elevated nightstands
Yep.
installed. Those are so cool.
Like I said, I certainly didn't have a room like this growing up.
No. I love, this is such a small thing, but I love when you can sit on a window, just like this. And anything that's modern, you lose that.
Yep, because
Yep.
you don't have those 3 levels of brick that
That's
are
right.
creating this super substantial structure.
Okay, so bathroom right here. Do you know what this floor is?
This I'm going to say is a marble.
Okay. So we have this tile here, and then we have the mosaic that runs up, but which is pretty unique and cool, is this runs up, then has a stop, and then brings in another tile. And we've seen this design somewhere else in the home. It kind of ties into the wallpaper a little bit.
Yep.
And then you have a deep niche over here, and then a bamboo or teak bench. And oh yeah, and yes, So they have great fixtures everywhere.
You know, it's for me,
It's all
like
Calista.
the sophistication, most people, right? You and I are educated, we can come through and we see this. Most people don't see the details like that. They feel sophistication, right?
Yeah.
You walk into something like this and you don't say, oh, look at how they raised that tile up and then they did the piece and then they went up there. They just say, oh, this feels a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more substantial than some of the things that we've seen. And it's all coming back to the level of details throughout the entire home.
To me, that's always been the hallmark of good design, is you don't know why you like it.
Right.
You go in, you're like, this is great.
Right.
This is really nice.
For certain.
Well, these are cool if they have mirrors on the sconces too, because you might want to just right, look into it. And of course this tilts, it's the angle that you need. And then there's one light above to give you the lighting that you want. I love
Well, it's
the
also
lighting.
nice, once again, you actually get some natural light.
Yeah.
As a woman that puts on makeup in the morning, not to make it sexist, but having some natural light come into the bathroom is something that we don't get to see a lot. And most of the bathrooms in here have some natural light coming in.
Looks great. Let's point this out too. So on the electrical, this is glow in the dark, if you can see that. And then you have a button for everything you need if you want to close up on that, Adam.
So actually, when you come into the home, you hit one button, and I would say about 80% of the lights are programmed to go on at one time. You can program more so, like right now the bedrooms are separate, but you can have everything is automated. There's a full Sonos system that will stay it as well. It's a complete audio-visual system. As I always say, they're smarter than I am at this point in time, but it makes it very, very easy.
I love the single panel doors too, it all ties in. And yeah, you have speakers in every single room, don't you? It's perfect.
So I love this gallery that essentially works well for photos and stuff like that. Tremendous storage opportunities.
Well, it's so practical. I geek out on the small things because you need a place to put your things here, but you have the storage over there plus over here. So this is really going to be for all the rooms over here. I imagine this is used as a linen closet. And then you have storage when you walk in over there for your guests. Okay.
So you also have, this is more storage.
Oh yeah, this is deep. This is a bedroom.
Right.
This is a New York
In
bedroom.
New York for certain.
Yeah.
There we go. So you've got your home run here. Definitely a great utility
There's a
closet.
home operation manual here. If you want to highlight this, Adam, we'll X out the name. But look at this. Look at this. if you buy this home, this comes with it, color coded, labeled. Okay.
As I said, there's certain sellers you want to buy homes from, and there's certain sellers you might not want to. Okay, sneaking in here. This is office number 2, right?
This carpet is so cool.
Back in the day,
They even did floor outlets for, because they knew someone was going to work here.
Yep.
So they did it for the low voltage and for the outlets. This is cool.
Right? And so what I think about, this was pre-pandemic.
Let's switch spots.
Oh.
Feel what it feels like.
I want to be the king of the castle.
There we go. This is so cool.
So pre-pandemic, to have 2 really great home office options, right? They always split their time between office and home, so it worked for them, but just forward thinking in today's day and age.
Yeah. How cool. You can feel all the nice padding underneath this. When there's cheap padding, it's so sad. If you're gonna do carpet, you have to get good padding, and so many people don't.
Bedroom number 2. This is very, very similar in size to the first one. Obviously, once again, done with all the same level of finish, a little bit different style. You've got a fantastic ensuite here too.
This is a boys' room, that's a girls' room.
Right.
And it really...
I don't think we're allowed to say that on camera anymore, are we?
We can say that. I think it hits the right notes.
Yeah.
And it's not overly done.
Nope.
Anyone could live in either room, obviously. But this would be your boys' room and that would be your girls' room.
If you wanted to come in and do absolutely nothing, yeah, it's perfectly set up for that.
I wouldn't touch anything here.
Right.
Yeah, it even shines in through the bathroom. Like the architect and the designer were thinking about this. They brought in some darker tones in here. Great storage.
Yeah, so it's essentially the exact same space. They just changed the finish level a little bit to give you a little bit of a different feel.
We didn't talk about it before, but there's over 6 feet in the shower. So you have a place to hang up your towels on this wall because it's long enough where the water isn't going to hit it. And they have the same great fixtures here too. These are, real metal. These aren't plastic. Everything nowadays is plastic. This is probably, I don't know what this is, but it's all great materials.
Okay, now this is their guest suite, bedroom number 4. Not a bad guest suite by any means.
Great guest suite and really good space over here. I like how you have this little section. I mean, you could definitely, I would picture a mirror right here. And the classic hexagon tiles again with the subway. Very understated, but done properly.
For certain.
And
once again,
they must have been a swimmer or they were exercising a lot. This is such a cool feature to have.
But once again, even though this is technically the darker side of the building, the west side, because the building next to us is closer, there's a light well right outside here, which is how this side...
that was looking through in the one area.
This is where you get a little bit more light coming through on this side as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. You don't need the lights on anywhere here. We haven't been in one room where you need the lights.
No.
Ha, look for the mirror. I always talk about this on the single panel doors. You can put a mirror right in the back, just like so. It's the perfect application for it.
Okay, now this is really good. This is their primary suite.
So...
Do you know how to do a cartwheel? Because I always say that you could do a cartwheel in here. I would, but I have a dress on.
Adam, how big do you think this room is? 22 by 18 and change.
This is suburban sized
Yes.
primary suite, hands down.
Yes.
Yeah, you can absolutely have a seating section. She likes to do yoga in here in the morning.
You could have 2 beds in here. You could have 2 completely different beds, 2 different TVs, 2 setups everywhere that fall in. I like the color. It's very neutral.
Yeah, this is just a grass cloth that I think absolutely is timeless and classic. I think most people really like it. Designers like to work with it, and it works well with anything.
And the room's so big. I like how they cut the carpet short so you have the perimeter. It looks really elegant. It looks really classic. It feels good. They did the picture framing around, light trim tying into the time, not something that was overdone. It looks really good. And then, wow, so this is the view right here.
Right.
I didn't get this shot. Just straight onto the tub. And I love these classic tubs where you have the platform and the deck all the way through. After you.
So no more arguing about closet space. Something for everybody.
Yeah, there's no them and them. There's
Right. Them and them.
equal and equal. Wow, their marble's in great shape too.
Right.
And I just heard the toilet rise.
The toilet rise.
Yeah, so bidets, Japanese toilets. This feels really good. Makeup counter, extra storage.
Natural light again on 2 sides.
I can't.
Oversized shower.
Did you guys have this honed before?
We had it all polished up.
Yeah, it's so polished and nice. It looks beautiful.
No, that's one of the things that I recommend to a lot of my sellers before we go live. Just because the daily wear on things,
Yeah.
but you can always bring things back to life. And
That's the best part about marble. Everyone loves quartz, and quartz is kind of new, but quartz has some boring elements to it, and this is something that you'll never bring the life back in. You can't hone quartz, you can't shine quartz. If it has a stain, and it does stain, people want to say it doesn't, it doesn't.
right.
You're not getting it out. This you can. You can work with it.
You can absolutely bring it back to life, which is one of the things that I just think that this bathroom is so inviting. I'm also a bath person. I always say people are either bath people or shower people. Unfortunately, my life doesn't lead to as many baths as I would like, but this one is really top notch.
It's such a classic tub. I love the deck on top. The transom window above really brings in the light too. The light fixtures, as everywhere, are very tasteful. And I love the framing on the mirrors. Can we talk about that? I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this.
The frame on the frame.
To bring, yes, have the mirror around it, then have the frame around it. Really looks good. Even the break in the glass here, because you have the cabinetry, you can tell whoever did this really thought it out and did it well. And classic bath. Very good. Very good. What haven't we seen?
Okay, let's come on back here. We haven't seen the foyer, and we actually haven't even gone downstairs yet.
Okay.
There's more to see downstairs. So, maybe we should have started here, but this is where when you have friends, family, people come and you're not coming in through the back, this is where you come in.
So this is where I came in, and the first thing that grabbed my attention before I even got through the door was this right here. I've seen blueprints and you frame them sometimes and they look good, but this one looks so nice. It doesn't look like your average set of plans.
So it's interesting, if you actually take a look at it closely, you'll see that this was prior to this renovation. So this goes back and totally unacceptable at this point in time, but you'll see that they actually talk about the servants' bedrooms, right? Because this goes way back. They don't call anything bedrooms, they're called chambers. So this is the footprint.
You know, that's what we should have done. When they got rid of the master,
we should
and
have
turned
called
it
it
into
the
private,
grand
we should have
chamber.
called it the grand chamber.
Let's start that right now.
I think so.
Right?
Chamber.
We're going to go with it. So it's just interesting. You'll see that certain things they absolutely tried to preserve and keep, but then they changed around. And then also this building, when they did the initial conversion as well, they put an addition on the back too. But yeah, so this very light, bright, inviting front stairwell, very, very wide. My clients joke and say it doesn't get used nearly enough because the back side is so easy and convenient for them, but they love having guests over because it shows that off.
Very inviting here. Great coat closet right in the entry. And you said there was more in the building?
There is more in the building. Want to
Let's
take
see
a
it.
little trip down?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh.
Let's actually go down the back. This here is a private room that they just decided to keep for themselves.
Wait, what?
The original developer.
So this is his. This is
belongs-
just the developers.
This is just the seller.
Okay, this is the coolest thing ever. I've never seen that before.
So our clients.
They even have a full bath.
So our clients turned this into a fitness room. The original developer had it a couple different multi-purpose. He had it as a nanny suite at one point in time. He also had it for a guest suite. His parents were getting a little older and they were coming in to stay. It was also a home office for one point in time. Our clients, when they bought it, they had all their living space upstairs. So they
Hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is the most unique thing I've ever seen. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'd show this off before I showed the house off. I'd be like, look at my bonus room that only I can access in the building. I assumed this was available to everyone when you were talking about it earlier.
This is private to the unit.
This is
Other
so cool.
thing to think
oh my God, this is such a hard listing for you because you can't, how do you show someone this? How do you explain this? People barely even read the text.
Right? Yeah, like I said in the beginning, the hardest thing about this is nobody knows it exists. And the other perk about this bathroom here is that you're on the main level. So if you're hanging out in back, in the yard, if you're playing basketball, if you're on the little playground out back, and somebody needs to use the bathroom, you're right here. You
Yeah.
have this extra facility. Heck, even if you go to the beach, which let's not take away from the fact
Very
that
close.
we are, you know, a stone's throw from the beach. If you go to do all that, you can come back and you've got a private bathroom right here without going upstairs.
You can rinse the kids off before you take them upstairs.
I think there's a hose out back for that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so not so glamorous, but still very special. Storage was a big deal, and if you didn't have enough storage upstairs, this is private storage for the unit. Not the building, just for the unit.
So if someone has a wine collection, this would be perfect.
Right,
for that.
wouldn't this be an amazing wine cellar?
If you need any space for anything, this works. There's no property you're going to get all these things.
No.
And what's the HOA here?
The HOA is just under $1,500.
Okay. For that much space. It's nothing. You know how high the ceilings are here?
I'm gonna say 11 or 12.
They're 11 feet. I like areas like this in a building because it feels real.
Right?
Not everything is like needs to be shiny in life. You want to have something that brings some true character.
Now I'm gonna apologize, I parked right in the middle of here. But you have a private 2-car garage.
Right? Yeah.
Behind the 2-car garage, you have 2 more parking spaces. So these 2 spaces here go with these 2 spaces here. So you have 4 parking spaces with the car, with the home. Plus over here, we have guest parking.
Yeah. This
So-
has every luxury and amenity you truly want in a home that you can rarely get.
For
and
certain.
you get it in the sky, on multiple levels, with different features, with space that you typically don't find. It's a great listing.
Right? No,
Yeah.
as I said, it's an absolute pleasure to show. It's a
And the
pleasure to
ivy.
help people experience it.
And the ivy.
And the ivy.
Everyone wants a side drive too. It's like every Chicagoan's dream that they can pull into their home on the side. Your attached garage and walk up.
Right? And then obviously this is what we were talking about before, and the fact that you've got a basketball hoop.
Yeah.
You've got a seating area. You've got a park in your backyard.
And that you share the maintenance with. You don't have to worry about this. And I
Nope.
see sprinklers. So they've really thought of everything.
Well, and the nice thing is though, even though it's only a 3-unit building, they're people that decided they don't want to run this themselves. So there is a management company in place that takes care of kind of the overhaul of everything. So it's not like you're
At this
living in
price point, no one's coming out here to mow the lawn.
No, exactly.
I don't think
so it's
so.
all taken care of,
And there's a
landscaped, everything
kids
like
set.
that.
I mean, this is really set up for everything. You don't even have to leave.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is you have a younger family, you want to take them to the park. This is the park.
This is so cool. Thanks so much, Amanda. This is a pleasure.
It's been such a pleasure. I appreciate you helping me highlight this.
Yeah, what a great demonstration.
Perfect.